Dun, 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 dun. Hey, everybody, welcome to NFT Coin Talk episode. This is number 91. 91 episodes of this. I'm Dumb. I'm the host, and I've got some people here to talk NFTs and whatnot with everyone. So, yeah, Marguerite, go ahead and introduce yourself. People don't know.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, so I'm Marguerite, CEO of Blockade Games. I've been in the crypto space in Bitcoin since 2012, 2013. Started with Bitcoin mining with my gaming GPUs. Since then, been a creative in the space. Definitely went down the NFT rabbit hole when that happened and launched my game company around making games with NFTs. So we've been working on our current main title right now, which is Neon District. It's a cyberpunk RPG. We just released the alpha of it publicly this month. Been working on it for about 2.5 years. And it's pretty awesome to see the NFT space skyrocketing into everybody's radar at the moment. And so, yeah, happy to be here.
Heck yeah, I'm glad you are here. Thank you for taking the time. I know you want to go to the beach, so we're gonna get through this, man. And we have Fitch.
Yo,
Fitch,
what's
up?
going on? Not too much. Nice to talk to you all again.
Yes.
And very cool to be on with an NFT legend in form of Marguerite. So, literally one of the first people I ever heard talking about NFTs. So,
I think me as well. I was pretty sure.
Yeah, her and Josie, right? And graffiti. Some of those. A lot of money, right? Like those are back in the day, like first people I ever heard talking about NFTs, and took me too long to get it. You know what I mean? But now that I do, it's a lot of fun. So I do work in NFT space full time as well. Kind of been full-time professional in crypto for about 4 years. Recently joined the Block Party team, and we are an NFT marketplace. So kind of more premium NFTs from sort of globally recognizable brands, artists, musicians, athletes, things of that nature. But we will be rolling something out soon that will be more equitable, kind of a platform for everyone. So
sick. And then there's SoCal.
Oh man! Wow. All right. Okay. Yeah. I see how it is. All right. Okay. Bye.
No. What's going on, dude? How are you?
What's up, man? Glad to be here. Excited to have everybody here. We were supposed to have a third guest. Lush sucks, and I guess he slept through his alarms.
Similar to you the other day.
That happens. That happens a lot.
Because he's not here. So, oh well. But yeah, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Dumb?
I'm really good, dude. Really good. I'm very excited.
Outstanding.
Love waking up early and doing shows and stuff. We're actually gonna do another show tomorrow. We're gonna do 2 in a row. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it's amazing.
You know what the crazy thing is? SoCal messaged me yesterday. He's like, "Please, if you don't hear from me by 9:30 a.m., please call me." And that was the way it used to be for me. Like people would be blowing my shit up. I would miss episodes. I'd sleep through them all. And now the tables have turned. Now I'm the one waking people up.
Once I asked you to wake me up.
You asked me
to
one
make
time,
sure
and
I
I'm
was up
taking it,
once.
Dude. Yep, this is it.
You got it. You run with that. That's your narrative now.
If you haven't figured it out yet, that's why I wasn't on last weekend, because I slept through 3 separate alarms. So
incredible.
That's why I wasn't on last show.
I'm the hero now. I'm the hero. Okay. Well, let's talk NFTs. I mean, obviously the biggest one in recent news is like the hash masks, right? And there's definitely like a lot of attention being drawn to NFTs lately. I think the hype is real. With crypto in general, the hype is really big right now. Lindsay Lohan has an NFT that she sold for 50 grand like 2 days ago, right? So like what? Yep. What is going on, dude? Like.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about that one in particular is that OXB1 guy, who's like a mega Chad, is going to burn it, I guess. Like I saw he was like, does Lindsay Lohan deserve to be here? Yes or no? And like, if you vote no, I guess he's gonna like, he bought it and he's gonna burn it like 50,000. Like, he just doesn't give a shit. So that guy's kind of a legend. I just like saw his wallet the other day. It was like $580 million worth of.
I know. So he's got like $1 million
I think he
worth
can
of
afford
Ether,
it, so.
and then he's got like $500 million worth of fucking ERC20s and shit.
You can you can tell that person like so deep down the DeFi, rabbit hole. They're like,
for sure, dude.
It's like Aave, Compound, all these different things. They're like getting yield here and then reinvesting it. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine the amount of just passive income that person makes every day from yield has got to be staggering. But yeah, I mean, I think and Marguerite can probably attest to this. I think NFTs were always going to be mainstream, right? Like when I first found out about NFTs, because I left my previous job, I had no idea what I was going to do next. And I just called Shiv and Vlad, who run Block Party. I was like, hey, what's up? And they were like, hey, you free? Or like, do you want to come do this NFT thing? I was like, what are NFTs? I'd heard about them, but like, what is this? What are you doing? Right. And, they told me, and I looked into it and I said, this is going to be global. Like, this is one of those things that, like, similar to DeFi, kind of fulfills the core promise of crypto to me, right? Like, really usable consumer grade, products and offerings. And that was what NFTs represented to me. I just thought about it. I was like, we're in this post-COVID world where, everyone is by default online right now. Every experience is kind of mediated by the digital realm. And you've got all these brands and artists who are kind of disenfranchised by, various aspects of the way that physical goods are delivered. Or if you're, in the case of a musician, streaming services completely rob you, right? So there's so much latent need for NFTs where you can now directly kind of package and offer products to your audience. It's like, so brands need the digital revenue, artists need the enfranchisement that NFTs represent, and creators across the world are now able to, monetize and have a liquid market for digital goods. So that to me was extremely bullish. And I think that what we're seeing now is just kind of, some of the frothiness of that, if I could use that phrase. Like, it's bubbling up a little bit, and similar to some of the 2017 vibes, you get celebrities who are grifters who are trying to come in and do some quick cash grabs. But I think that there's going to be some really, really exciting stuff with celebrities too that you're going to see. Well, I know for a fact that there will be. I can't say exactly what, but between NFT Gateway, super rare, you're going to see celebrities doing really cool, innovative, creative things, not just Lindsay Lohan slapping an NFT on Rareable. And so I think that's an unfortunate symptom of the good thing, which is that NFTs are going mainstream.
Did you see that Lindsay Lohan also was shilling Tron?
Oh yeah, that was fun. I was like, this is like the weirdest timeline that I've been,
But also the tweet was like a copy paste tweet, and I think someone else.
And Neo, the R&B guy did it too. It was like, and then somebody posted a screenshot of Cameo for each, and it was like almost the exact same price you could get a Cameo from them. And it's like, did we legitimately have like Justin just go on Cameo and like pay them for this in the exact same copy paste text? Like, this is unbelievable. So
that was weird. I don't know, that the whole Lindsay Lohan like came in. I don't know what came first. Was the Tron tweet or was it the NFT? But
I think
it was the
NFT,
yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is kind of weird, a little suspect, but I mean, whatever, there's some weirder things, and then all of a sudden it's just like, boom, just token, Sun token, Tron, I love DeFi, like, oh fuck, like, okay, this is
that was bad. The worst part was I tweeted like 2 days prior to the Lindsay Lohan thing, like, the people that are going to be making NFTs soon will shock you. And people started trolling me after the Lindsay Lohan thing. I was like, oh, this is what you're talking about, dude? Nice. I was like, no. But yeah, it's funny. I mean, I think that you'll see more of that. You'll definitely see more of that.
Word. There's some questions in the troll box.
Cool.
Someone said, how are these platforms going to handle DMCA takedowns for copywritten material? Is that something you guys have thought about?
Yeah, I mean, I think if the platform is decentralized, that's not really an issue. If the platform is a little more centralized, then I think you would contact the artist and probably pull the work, or you would if there was an IP holder whose sort of IP you had infringed upon, you'd have that conversation and be willing to offer the money to them, So like if a sale took place, there's a legitimate IP claim, the IP holder contacts you, I think your responsibility as the platform is to talk to the artist, explain the situation, any revenues, profits that were generated from that sale, you could forward along to the IP holder. So I think people kind of make it out to be an issue that's bigger than it is. Also, artistic license is covers a lot, right? So I don't think you're going to see too many issues with that. There are cases where I've seen some people comment on Twitter, like, depictions of athletes, right? And if the athlete happened to be wearing like Jordan sneakers, people are like, oh, isn't Jordan gonna sue you? It's like, do you think like Jordan's gonna sue another professional athlete for depicting like Kobe Bryant or MJ wearing a certain kind of sneaker?
Right.
Like, it just doesn't seem like something that's going to happen. But if it did, the platform would, I think, offer the money to the IP holder. That's my short answer. So.
Okay. Great. Someone was asking about how do NFTs help musicians versus streaming services? They said it seems more like smart contract solution than NFTs. I think NFTs have other use cases for musicians, VIP stuff, concert in minutes. That's what I was thinking too. Like, an NFT like pass to get into a show or something like that. Like, is there any other?
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and we're really excited to push that forward at Block Party. Like, physical activations with NFTs is like the dream. That's the vision, because the way I look at NFTs is as keys. I literally think of an NFT as a key. I think that the base iteration of an NFT is the key to that digital file, which is visually represented with the NFT. So be that stored on IPFS, be that stored completely on chain. Like Avastars is a really cool, on-chain platform where literally the image is like inside of the metadata of the NFT, right? So, that iteration, it's a key to that file. But there's so many other things that the NFT can be a key for. It could be a key for an experience in the metaverse. Literally. I mean, you can, in Decentraland, and we're going to build some stuff we are building some stuff like this, but holding a certain NFT could unlock a private room that you otherwise can't get into, right?
Yeah.
That is where it starts to become really, really powerful. And in Marguerite's case, and she can talk more about this, in gaming worlds, NFTs can unlock experiences, maybe a boss fight, maybe some kind of rare weapon or something like that, right? And then in the physical world, if you go to an event, the NFT can be scanned. In the future this will be a reality, but scanned to get you VIP, scanned to get you different things. I forget what the beginning of that point was that someone was kind of, but yeah, I think the keys thing is what I'm most intrigued by with NFTs. I'd say that's like the vision that needs to be realized.
Well, it was so the prompt was basically about events and like NFT as access. So yeah, and you touched on some really good points. I think like isn't Block Party working on both access to events? It was more like physical, but now like with the COVID move, it became a digital. Was it?
Yeah, so we were a blockchain ticketing company and still are, but kind of spun out this business unit within Block Party that's the digital art and collectibles and all that stuff. But the plan, because we literally still have a ticketing app that's integrated with the blockchain. So thinking about that, it's like once we build this core NFT platform, then we just use the app to activate it at events. Like we did the parties at Consensus multiple times, and you'd go and you'd scan a QR code and it would register on the blockchain your ticket. And imagine then you do that, but once you're inside the event, there's like a VIP experience, and that's an NFT that you purchased, and it's tradable too. That's the cool thing. It's like that's on a liquid open market. The other interesting thing there is like physical, goods that can be tied to NFTs. So I can have a physical
like
good,
the crypto socks or whatever those things were. The Uniswap.
Yeah, that's one example. I think you're going to
crazy,
see.
dude.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a bunch more of that. Like NFTs being used as like certificates of ownership too. Yeah, but I mean, short answer, Marguerite, is yeah. That's where we want to be, because that's where we came from. It's like we want to fulfill that original promise of Block Party, which is, use blockchain to interact with the real world. So,
well, wasn't that a block party event in Decentraland recently?
So we are building something in Decentraland that's actually not public yet. So this will be disclosed for the first time. We are building a major structure in Decentraland, so that'll be coming soon. But yeah, we didn't ourselves have just like a solo activation. I've been kind of poking around of like gone to different people and trying to pull as much information in about Decentraland as possible, because I'm really intrigued by Decentraland. I think it's like the audience of today is all there, people who implicitly understand NFTs are all hanging out in Decentraland. So that's where we want to be.
Dude, I would go to a party in Decentraland. I've got some property, but I haven't done anything.
Do you really?
I haven't developed it. I bought it a long time ago. I bought some next.
It's probably worth a decent chunk, dude. I mean, mana has been going up in price, I think, and the land's been doing pretty well.
Yeah, I bought some. Where did I buy it? There's the red light district next to Bittrex Tomorrow, which maybe maybe Bittrex Tomorrow is driving down the property value. I don't know. We'll see.
That's funny.
I got a few little things, but I need to go develop that stuff because that's really cool. I really like that.
I wouldn't sell it, to be honest. I would build something.
Oh, I would probably fuck around on it and try to make a house or something before I sold it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, you go in there and you're just like, dude, this is wild. Like, and my buddy, she was the first one to show me like being able to use an ERC20 or an NFT to unlock a private area, and it just blew my mind. I was like, I get it. Like, it was like, oh, like the light shines down.
Yeah.
Like eureka moment. It was literally like that. I was like, this is incredible. I mean, it was the equivalent of what Marguerite was talking about with like the physical events. It's just the same thing in VR, and it all clicked, and it was like, NFTs are keys. This is the way I look at them. So,
hell yeah.
I guess with Block Party, like, do you think it'd be tough to get some big headliners into an event space like Decentraland? Like, I mean, we're already seeing a few pretty big names, so I feel like no.
Yeah, Black built like his whole giant space in there, right? And I think the short answer is no. Like, I mean, Atari, who we dropped a teaser that we're going to be doing a major NFT release with Atari soon, which is going to blow people's minds. The products are insane. But Atari just announced that they're building like a massive thing in Decentraland, right? So
damn.
I miss and it's like you can literally play like Atari games in there. It's going to be like a huge arcade, which is so cool, But like if Atari is into it, now obviously they're a little more close ideologically to like the digital realm and NFTs, but I think that when brands see like all the potential of this, it's gonna be really easy. We already have one client who's like very, very interested in it, who is a music label. So they see the potential, and I think that it's not gonna take much to get them. It's the pitch is really just like, this is a way to deepen your experience with your audience. That's the way I look at DCL. It's like it just takes it to another level of depth. You extend the connection between the physical, the digital, the blockchain, and the metaverse. And if you can create an experience that connects all those dots together, you have an incredibly, incredibly powerful fan or sort of collector or whatever that consumer is. That experience is very powerful for them.
Dude, I'm just looking at this Atari Decentraland building thing, and it's like, dude, what the... Yeah,
I'm right, dude. Wait till you see what we're gonna build. Like, I'm telling you now, like, block party structure will be the most impressive thing you've ever seen in Decentraland. Like, we pulled out all the stops for this, so I'm really, really excited to show people. And like I said, I don't think that's like not public. We're doing that, so that's
like with the virtual space like that with a block party. Like, I'm curious how that's gonna work, where there's different time slots for when people could be occupying. Let's say being an entertainer. And like, would you buy the time slot and then you sell like NFT tickets for participating and having access to the venue during that time?
That's a really interesting idea. I hadn't actually even thought of that. The way that just the base like function that we were thinking of is there's going to be like two different kinds of experience of the block party Decentraland space. There's like an event space kind of like a party room, and we want to kind of have some games and some different things in there, and then just do, like, my buddy Prob C, who is a EDM artist. He does shows in Decentraland, right? And so like we would bring someone like him, or maybe Blau or RAC, or any of these people who are doing, you know, music. And I think you're going to see more like rap and you know, rock and things. It's going to be more than just the EDM it is now. But I think you're going to see a lot of that actually, like shows inside of Decentraland. I know Blau has done a few actually. So that's one level of the experience. And then the other level is going to be a gallery. And that gallery would rotate based on what we want it to be. And that could be related to drops. If we have a certain drop, you know, we want to showcase that, or we have an artist that wants to be featured, we could have some kind of relationship with that. I don't know that we're necessarily trying to like monetize it, but I really like that idea of tickets that you said. But we're at this current point, we're thinking of it as a way to just deepen the experience of NFTs. That's kind of the core thesis. It's like, you know, everyone knows now that you can buy NFTs for price X and sell it for higher price Y, but that's just such a you know, understatement of what NFTs are capable of doing. And we kind of want to lean into that other stuff. Like, how do you experience it? What do you do with it? So
I think a virtual concert venue, though, in the same way that a venue operates today, where people book it out, and then there's a whole calendar. Like as a user, visit the venue's like calendar, and I could even reserve or like try to buy tickets, things that are limited. I would do that, like especially when it's all consolidated like that. I think it's hard for users because there's so much happening that there's no funnel. If I like a certain experience and I want more of that experience, and especially once I've learned, like once I've onboarded into a live event in Decentraland, now I kind of, and I know where it is on the map. Like now I'm a committed user, and it would be easy for me to then come back and repeat that kind of behavior. It's that learning curve of like, one, getting someone into Decentraland, two, like, where do I go? You know, and
yeah, I felt that before. Yeah.
Well, and just syncing your wallet, there can be some intimidating things about it for a new person. I actually am making Decentraland wearables for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm making so for some of you that are listening and might not know, I have a creator token called Coin. It's Coin Artist token, but its ticker is Coin. There's a story there.
Okay. Yeah, I know the story.
We actually talked about that story on one of the previous episodes, and I was very vocal in my support of you.
Yeah. As was I. I think you put your time in, and you deserve the support from the community on that. That was a ridiculous situation overall. But anyway, continue your point. I don't want to distract.
Anyone that has been following the saga, we have filed a petition to cancel the trademark. So that's happened. So somebody, for everybody listening, somebody trademarked Coin, hashtag Coin,
which is ridiculous. Like,
dumb. Yeah,
the trademark office didn't know what they were doing. Like, because for example, the counter argument here is, well, you know, you can trademark common words. Look at Apple, the computer software, and actually, no, that's not true, because when you're talking about computers and now you're talking about Apple, you're not talking about trademarking apples with the word, you know, and then trademarking
right
Apple.
In that context. Yeah.
Right. So it's a common use. Like it can't be trademarked. It shouldn't have been. So anyways, we're challenging it. So anyways, along that theme, we're with underneath the Coin, we're rolling out a fashion line that actually goes in parallel with Neon District, the video game.
Right.
So there will be NFTs that you can wear in Neon District that are custom, that you can collect, that will be of like my brand, my personal cyberpunk brand, but also working with Meta Factory to have these produced like physically, so that they're, you know, mirror world here with digital physical. And they're chipped. So the physical assets are chipped.
Love that.
And
that's
so they'll be sold by Meta Factory. They also come with AR, like Bluetooth capabilities. So you could have all kinds of crazy, like augmented reality gamified experiences. But in addition to this, we're making, we went through the Decentraland DAO, to, and with the coin, we did a not your coin proposal and they approved it. So now we're making Decentraland wearables that will say not your coin on the t-shirt, which is, it's a play on Andres Antonopoulos' not your keys, not your coin.
Yeah.
So it's not with the cash tag. So
that's great.
Yeah. So I'm excited about, it actually was a really neat, from the fallout of just that whole, like, what that happened with this whole coin shenanigans. I was able to actually work a lot closer with some of the other projects in our space. There's a shared ethos that we have of like a crypto culture that is, I think, really important to a lot of us that have been building, that have built through the bear market, that we were here through thick and thin, that it wasn't really always just about the money. It was always about what's possible. Like, what are we going to be able to achieve with everything everyone's been developing. And so even though we have these celebrities come in and like exploit and take advantage, it seems like, of a lot of what's going on, it's really important to stay grounded and centered about, you know, why we were here in the first place, even though it's easy to lose grasp as everyone's making bajillions of dollars on their different projects.
Really well said. Really, really well said. And I feel that, like, day in and day out, it's like, there's a reason I'm here, you know? It's not the money. Like, when I first joined crypto, I took less than my current job to do crypto full time. You know what I mean? Like, it was never about the money. And it's like with NFTs, there's a lot of my NFTs, it's like, frankly, they're not for sale. I think that SoCal was talking before we started the stream about one of those from Neon District that he had, right? And it was like, yeah, there's some of these, it's like, dude, you can't, it's not for sale. You know, you could offer me 50 grand and I'm not, it's not for sale. Like, I want to put that on my wall. I want to own that. I want to experience that. And, you know, there is that crypto culture, right? And I love that idea of connecting the garments, right, in the metaverse to in the real world, right? And I say the real world, it's almost like a misnomer at this point, but I think that's very, very clever. Love to support that, you know, via Block Party in whatever way we can.
Actually, we were talking about building out a Coins Eden space and like have a rollout of these events. It would be really neat to have some sort of live event with someone playing and featuring Block Party.
Well, we got artists, we got musicians, we got those in spades. So
it was crazy. So to challenge, by the way, the trademark, the way that the cancellation process works, let's say it escalated and it was going to be illegal, the litigation could escalate all the way to like $375,000. Like, it's insane. So, you know, hopefully it won't get that far, but with some of these proceeds that we'll be receiving from some of these sales, it's going to go towards just covering legal costs.
Yeah. And I think that kind of ties back to that other point that someone was asking about the cost, or what would you do if somebody tried to file a claim on some art that you had sold. It's like, in our case, I mean, for your case, you have, like, I think, legitimate right to have the coin ticker and, you know, kind of, you want to plant your flag there. For us, it's like, we want to support the artists and we want to work with the artists to figure out the most amiable solution. But at the end of the day, like, you know, if we have to give the money to the IP holder, we would, just because it's a different, you know, situation, right, than yours.
It's true to be aware as an artist or creative that not trademarking or not paying attention can be very expensive if someone decides to trademark troll you about it.
Yeah.
These people exist and they're coming into our space now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I've seen more than a few.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, there's already, when we're talking about coin as the ticker, there's over like 50 coins like that the ticker's coin.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's been, even from years and years ago, I remember there was a coin that was just called coin, and it was, the thing was, I found it and I thought it was just so simple and cool, and then I could never find it because I looked on Bitcoin Talk for the thread and there was no way to find it because it was just called coin, and there's so many coins. So yeah. Yeah, I was like, God.
Spartacus.
It's like coin. What the fuck, dude? Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's really unfortunate that happened to you.
You have pre-existing IP. So if it's not in use, like even if you've used something and maybe somebody can make an argument that it's not in use or it doesn't really fit that sort of criteria, but maybe you have an edge on some sort of brand you're developing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the trademark office, like, they have no idea what they're doing in our space. So things will be trademarked that shouldn't be trademarked. And then, yeah, it can really be disruptive. So just to pay attention. Anyways, let's talk more about fun stuff.
All right. Mark Walls.
Hello?
Hello?
Uh-oh. Is that Lush?
Yeah, it's fucking very early.
Hey,
here,
what's up, bud? Glad you could make it fashionably late.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking like 5 in the morning here, man.
What the hell are you talking about? What? You scheduled us at 5
'cause
o'clock
I'm
in
in
the morning?
Australia, like in where all the kangaroos and shit are. So.
Hell yeah, bro.
Oh my god. That's
You
incredible.
can go ahead and introduce yourself if people aren't familiar.
Yeah, sure. Just like some graffiti guy, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
You do the
That's all I've
graffiti
been
of
doing for the last
Joe Biden and Trump
like 20
kissing.
years. So.
That's
Sorry.
pretty.
The
That's a pretty
graffiti
good
of
one.
Joe Biden and Trump kissing.
Yeah. I mean, like some of the I've done some political like murals and stuff, and sometimes they get in the news and all that. But yeah, they cause trouble. Like,
Yeah,
so
I can imagine, dude.
no, like it really like I probably shouldn't have done the Biden ones I did recently because it just kind of destroyed any growth on my what's it called, like Instagram, for example.
Oh, did they like clamp you down after that?
Oh, it's pretty noticeable, yeah.
Jeez, that sucks.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, it's good to have you, dude. That's funny.
Well,
What an amazing intro.
also Lush just had his first NFT drop.
Yeah.
And I would say it was fairly successful.
Yeah. What's what happened with that? What were the numbers?
I don't know, but now I've got 45% tax rate, I think. So.
So that's cool.
I'm thinking about just moving to Dubai or something.
Yeah, you should talk to Mo, dude. Mo's out there. He'll help you.
There's something going on in March in Dubai. I was hearing Galaxy Digital talking about how they're going to go out there, and I guess it's completely open.
Like,
I think
everything's
New Zealand's also like crypto tax free, supposedly. I don't know, but I mean, I wouldn't live in New Zealand. You couldn't pay me to live there. They're all knobs.
Yeah, 0% sounds pretty good, but
your artist description on Nifty is fucking hilarious, dude. Oh
Yeah.
my god, that is amazing.
Got to keep them a little on their toes, a little scared.
Yeah. This is amazing.
I don't know. There's no one like. Everyone takes that shit very serious on there. All that stuff. I don't know. Like all these like guys, they're all very serious.
Yeah, you need a little levity, right? I think you get that a lot with artists, take themselves a little too seriously.
I don't know. Most of the artists I like have got a little bit of, or mostly dry humor or black humor or something.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm looking. Someone named Just Tron bid on one of your pieces. I wonder if that's Justin. I wonder if that's him.
You know what? He's enough of an egomaniac that he would make a sock puppet account called Just Tron.
Just Tron, yeah. It doesn't even try and hide it.
No,
it's just his name.
He would probably announce the pre-announcement of a partnership with himself or something like that.
Bidding on this piece in 1 week. Like, okay.
I don't know if you did. Thanks for the cash, I guess.
Yeah, this is good, dude. I mean, some nice activity on these. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, I'm like, I mean, I've always been sort of in and out of the crypto thing. Like, I'm not like I wasn't like heavy invested in it because I don't know. I like over the last years, I didn't see like what was the reason for me to be in there, you know?
Yeah.
And once the NFT thing got properly explained to me, I was like, now I finally see a reason to have a crack at like getting involved in it properly, you know? Because like I mean, I never really live streamed or any of this stuff like many of my friends did, who were taking crypto as donations. So like, some of those guys are, you know, they got like $14 million worth of it just from like idiots giving them 300 Bitcoin or whatever when they were doing like gay little gaming streams and stuff. So I should have got the like message earlier on, but yeah, I was just too busy like stealing stuff and painting fucking brains and shit.
Yeah, I appreciate the sentiment. It's like, you know, the opportunity was there. You got to think how stupid those people who sent the 300 Bitcoin feel now. So
yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, like, well, they're all good people, so they deserve it and shit. But yeah, but I've never had any regrets about like being real late or anything. Yeah, like it's the NFT thing's really good because finally there's a reason for me to try and do stuff because like everything else, like there wasn't much like opportunities art wise and stuff. It was all like wasn't there yet, you know, because like the digital art thing, like I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Saatchi and Saatchi.
yeah, I applied. I almost worked there.
Well,
that's funny. Like years and years ago.
Someone I worked with back in like 2010 and stuff. She was a part of the like team that built their like digital art platform that failed super hard.
Yep.
So like that put off. That's one of the reasons I think a lot of these like actual galleries and such don't want to go anywhere near the NFT shit, and a lot of the like brand name artists and stuff, they wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole because they saw the like failure of that sort of stuff. But I don't think they understand that this time around there's actually like a reason to get involved and a reason to buy that JPEG, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's actually speculation on it and all like an actual market, you know? Instead of like their selling point at the time was like, oh, you can put it on your smart TV and it's yours and you only own it.
Right. Not much of a selling point. You know what I mean? It's
so that their like whole system created, and I think they like lost like $100 million or some shit on it.
Good Lord. Yeah. I mean, I think that I've definitely seen previous experience with digital art kind of go up in smoke because they didn't have the NFT part, right? And the NFT part, like you said, it's more than just the backing and the authenticity of the digital goods. It's a market. They immediately become transactable liquid assets, right? And not as liquid as we all want them to be sometimes, but who cares, right? I mean, it's better than zero. Yeah. Right. I mean, what am I gonna, thinking about like the legacy art world? If I go buy painting, right now, some people are good at this. Vlad, my boss, is good at this because he came from that world of running an art investment fund, and he's worked with Sotheby's and Christie's. If I bought a painting and I went to sell it, I wouldn't know the first fucking place to start. I guess eBay. I don't know, Amazon. Then what? Right? I mean, how do you find it? But like, seriously, what do you do? Do I go try and get it on Sotheby's site or what, right? And then I have to wrap it up and ship it to whoever buys it.
Yeah,
it's a logistical nightmare. But then you think about an NFT. I click like 2 buttons and it's listed, and there's buyers like galore. So that's the part that people shouldn't sleep on, right? Like the market is what makes this. It's what gives it life. You know what I mean? And some people, artists especially, want to kind of be upset about it sometimes, the commoditization of art, or, you know, that it's merged with kind of the world of actual cryptocurrencies, but don't, you know, separate the wheat from the chaff there too much, right? Because that's what gives it life. That's what makes it powerful, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, right now the competition is terrible. Like, it's DeviantArt tier for the most part, apart from maybe the top 15. Like, there's zero. I mean, you got like Lindsay Lohans and fucking Soldier Boys and shit. That's a fucking really good sign for me, or someone else that has an actual brand of sorts, because if you can kind of jump in now before, say, your Murakami rocks up, which he's going to come, he's already I'm already hearing like things about that guy and the stable artists under him, and then also hearing about, say, one of the galleries that represents him is like already sort of doing the background work right now. So like they've had sort of these guys that like, you guys know Cause, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there was guys who invested heavily in him real early, and they sold around 2 years ago, when this guy Nigo, who was the initial like investor in Cause, decided to dump all of his work, and at one of at Art Basel in Hong Kong, and also I think another Art Basel or something, another auction, and they all dumped their work around the same time, and all of those guys are like just like autistic when it comes to like art market stuff and that, and they're like currently trying to like approach these actual like big name galleries and go, hey, I can be the guy to help you like transition any artists that you have on your roster that's interested in cryptocurrency stuff into this NFT world. And as soon as they come, they're going to smash out all these other people because they just don't have that like brand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think
like, but anyone that like gets in now and establishes good like resale and good big prices for their stuff, like I'm sure they'll probably maybe get to stick around too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and like you have to think of it as like this pool of money that's available to buy NFTs at any given time. And when big acts come in, they just kind of suck up that pool of money, right? And, you know, it is a good thing to get in now, get involved, build your brand, build that that resale value, innovate on your work, and establish yourself, because that's going to happen. But I think that, you know, I do see a lot of frustration from artists, especially. It's one thing I've seen a lot that I haven't ever talked about on a show, but I kind of want to talk about, like artists that get frustrated with the way that crypto markets work and NFT markets work, and quit. You know, it's like maybe their work just doesn't translate as well to the medium. Maybe they don't tell their story effectively enough, right? Maybe they don't market themselves very well. And I've talked about this, and I've gotten some flack from artists about it, but I really think it's important to like not quit. You know, I think you have to keep going. I think if you're running into headwinds, you have to try and pivot. You know, you have to experiment with the way that you mint NFTs. Maybe you need to do more editions at lower price. You know, you need to experiment with the way that you produce your art, the way that you tell your story, the way that you deliver your art to the audience, right? The way that because with NFTs, you can really productize and package your art in some unique ways. That in and of itself can be artistic. The way that you deliver. Now, for all the controversy, Murat Pak is a great example of this, right? Murat Pak is a genius when it comes to packaging NFTs in certain ways that become themselves artistic experiences. That's almost like the point of what he's doing, is like to show you that there is an artistic experience within the medium itself, right? So I don't know, any artist that's listening to this, like, don't quit, you know what I mean? Definitely not now, because sky's the limit from here, but you have to keep going. You have to persevere. You have to experiment. You know, you have to realize you're building on a medium that in and of itself has artistic and creative potential. It's the same way that a canvas, you can do a bunch of different things with a canvas. You know, like Lush, you spray on brick or whatever, you know, the brick itself is part of the art. It gives texture, it gives feeling to the art, you know, depth. So that's the same thing with NFTs. You need to think of NFTs that way. They are a fundamental substrate, a medium on which you produce art that themselves has artistic meaning and potential, right? So anyway, that's it.
Your microphone got muted.
I think that's a great point about like the easy. I mean, artists like so. I went to art school. I have a fine art degree, and you're trained to like, for example, you shouldn't go to the art store and buy the canvas. If it's really your craft, you need to make the stretcher, which is the wooden frame. Stretch the canvas, pick out the fabric, the whole experience. Like you should be making choices about why this type of wood, why this type of canvas, like what brushes are you using? What tools do you use to create the art piece? What kind of materials? What kind of paints? And I think like, and I've said the same sort of conversation too, or comments too, where like we saw this with hash masks. They use different features about what's possible with composability with of NFTs, using the tech itself in a creative way that reinforces the experience of the art piece. And that is actually what makes it exciting for people, because then it's like a magic trick. Otherwise, it's just like, okay, so it's a file you uploaded. That's probably one of your famous pieces. Like I think I heard like the what's the cat called with the rainbow coming out of its butt? That artist.
Oh, the Neon cat, yeah.
Neon cat, yeah.
Selling that or has sold it. And like people trying to double down on past work to realize value money out they hadn't realized from it before. I get that. But at the same time, that's not actually the real value proposition. The real value proposition is what you can do with it as an NFT, which is this digital asset, which can be transferred across networks, that could be interactive. Like it can change in real time. There's different development teams working on like developer sandboxes that render directly from code. So from CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, and it'll render an NFT in real time that can even be a mini game, or it can be an audio player, or it can be artwork that modifies according to your wallet address, and be unique to you. So there's and also there's ones we see on async art, ones that actually like change and modify according to your local time. It'll represent the art piece as it were in the day, and then now it's your nighttime. So now the art piece looks like it's in a night setting. So I guess like there is so much more for the experience, and I don't think it's just like I heard someone make the comment earlier that the value, like to be an artist and try to get that real big like signature that you are validated because someone bought your artwork for a lot of money. I don't like, just as an artist, I want to push back on that, because a lot of your underground street artists, people that make work because they're passionate about it and have a following, like look at Banksy. He even fucks with people that do want to buy his artwork. You know, he'll shred it.
Yeah, that shredding thing was so fucking awesome, dude. That was the craziest thing.
So like, it depends on, are you going to be a commercial artist? Are you trying to be some sort of like like what is your ethos as an artist, and what do you care about? The artists have always had an interesting relationship to money, that they don't want to be, sold out or. It's an interesting conversation. So I don't think your value as an artist is really assigned to how much you sell your artwork for. And I think that's important to remember as you're competing. I can see a lot of young artists probably feeling very not great about themselves, as maybe they're making great work, but maybe it's not being appreciated in this space. When you have these other people coming in with $700,000 on a Nifty Gateway drop.
Yeah, I think it's tempting. Yeah, and I totally agree with what you said there. A lot of those points are really powerful points. I mean, on the hash mask thing, like you looked at that without the gamification and the randomness and the composability that you talked about, you'd be like, okay, it's kind of an unremarkable Basquiat-esque masked figure. Okay, like great, I'm not interested. But then you add all those other elements in, and now it's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's gamified like 5 levels down, and you're like, holy shit, this is actually mind-boggling. And then you become obsessed, you know. And I've seen that degens who ape into shitcoins becoming obsessed with hash masks. It's like very funny for me to see. But you know, I think that point about the artist is really salient too. It's like the way that you view yourself should not be tied to those numbers for sure. However, there is this other objective reality of the way the marketplace treats, you know, its participants, right? So it's hard to kind of, you know, balance that juxtaposition of those two different things. Like your self-worth should definitely not be tied to what you sell your art for. Your art could be incredible and the market's just not in a place to value it appropriately, right? But, you know, nonetheless, and this is like a lot of the advice that I give ends up being advice on how to sell art, because, you know, I have a background in psychology and marketing and sales, you know, and it's like I know how to sell things. So I want to help artists be not starving artists. But at the same time, a lot of artists, I think the pushback comes from that point that you brought up, Marguerite, of like a lot of them, it's beyond money. It's more than money, you know. But it's like at the end of the day, you have to recognize your self-worth isn't tied to that number, but the market will try and tie you to that number. You know, it'll try and pull you in, you know.
Well, I think that's the conversation. So there's going to be probably artists we'll see emerge to kind of address that conversation through their artwork or creative way. Like, you know, we'll probably see that at some point. I do think because of our space and since the value is so closely tied to the marketplace or the marketplace and the art, that what was I gonna say? Crap! I totally. Oh, it's getting.
You were on the marketplace tied to the value of your own stuff. Yeah.
The thing is, it's easy to game. So
yes, it is.
Make total crap art or make up a brand, and then just somebody has a lot of money and they want to invest in this art, and then if they make these initial sales to establish a base price for this artwork, and then they can even receive that money back, you know, behind closed channels. Then this artist can then, you know, now having made such a splash, and the press will probably cover it if it's enough money. I mean, we've seen this with other designers, like someone selling a rose for $1 million or something a while ago. Do you remember that? Was it Kevin?
Not that specifically, but yeah, I know the broader point you're making is very, very true, you know?
Yeah. So you can put somebody on the map that you then like can be like, let's say you make this arrangement and now you'll get 50% of all their sales in the future because you helped establish them. But yeah, so I guess it's easy to game in that way. But
yeah, I mean, I made a very What's that?
Who wants to do that for me? Let's make
I got you, dude. Yeah. I love that. I mean, I made a very controversial tweet a while ago that was like, you know, it's a world of kings and kingmakers. Like, what do you want to be? You know what I mean? Because it's really up to you at the end of the day. But I think I would any artist that believes that you cannot have artistic integrity and also game the system is not being honest with themselves, because you can do both, you know, like. And there, I think, you know, again, using Marat Pak as an example, I really like Marat Pak because he kind of lampoons the entire thing. And I love those like lampoons of the system. I think that's great. And like pointing out just exactly how it can be gamed. It's like, look, here's the blueprint, you know, and it's actually art when you game the system. Like the fucking banana on the wall, or like the self-shredding thing, or like one of my favorite pieces of art from like the very, very early days. Marguerite, you probably know about this Cicada 3301 thing. Yeah, so in the Cicada 3301, there's this poem called Agrippa by William Gibson. And that was one of the clues to uncover Cicada. And it was actually like one of the very first examples of like self-destroying art. So it was a computer file that was designed to corrupt itself. And there was a physical, but when you opened the physical where the poem was stored, acid was released into it and it destroyed it. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. I love that. It like spits in the face of everything that you think you know. Because what am I buying it to own it?
Yeah.
No, apparently not, right? It makes you really question what it is to experience art and purchase art. And that was the first example I ever heard of that. And anytime I see someone like playing with that, you know, what it means to own it, what it means to do with it, what it means to sell it, I think these are questions that we have to ask ourselves. We're almost forced to ask ourselves these questions by the nature of what NFTs are. They really fundamentally ask us to really go back to stage one, What does it mean to own? What does it mean to sell? What does it mean to transact, right? What does it mean to experience art? I mean, these are questions that are reinvigorated by NFTs, you know?
That's interesting because it's kind of like Bitcoin challenge to what is money.
Yeah. Yep.
And I guess like these experiences has taken us deeper down that rabbit hole of it is a human experience with technology. So.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like NFTs are. You said bubbling up a little bit. Like this is just the beginning. Like I mean, there's gonna be so much more.
It's the beginning. It's like, I don't know, to not maybe use too deep of an analogy, but like, you know, in the universe, you kind of have like extra expansion, right? You have this quantum vacuum energy, right, which accelerates the already ongoing expansion. So when I use that term frothy, it's because like certain things bubble up and they're going to pop. But the underlying growth of NFTs is undeniable.
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere. It's the train that's unstoppable at this point. And the core premise that I realized was like two things. The NFTs are keys thesis was incredibly powerful and enlightening to me. And it's like why I put a lot of time and energy into NFTs. And then the other thing was like, this is just a no-brainer for brands and artists. It's just a no-brainer. Like it's the most duh kind of shit that you could ever think of. You know, there is every incentive for brands and artists to do this.
Yeah. So
they will do it. And when they do it, it will become a global movement, period. It's literally that simple. The thesis is not complicated, right? So, you know, to me, what happens in these little micro narratives as that broader narrative unfolds, that, you know, there will be flash in the pan type shit. There will be Lindsay Lohan NFTs as we've seen.
Yeah.
But that has no like critical impact on the underlying movement, you know?
Hell yeah.
Like right now, my read on the whole thing is that it's like DeviantArt tier shit right now. And like 99, it's like just like the outside world, like 99.9% of artists are like shit tier. And like if you choose to become an artist, it's like the equivalent of going to Hollywood from Ohio. And like,
dude, I literally did that. Bro, I literally moved to Hollywood from Ohio. I'm sorry, that just kind of freaked me out. That's
yeah.
I mean, I didn't do it. I didn't do it for acting, but like that's very, very funny to me.
It's like the ultimate like worst choice for someone in terms of a job is to become an artist. Like
well, I mean, in using your Hollywood example, the phrase I always used to use to people living in LA is like every actor is an Uber driver, because acting is hard and people think it's easy and they think it's glamorous, and it's not most of the time. If you're the top 1% of 1%, it is. But think how many everyone moves to LA with the exact same goal in mind, right? And that's what I think that's the point that you're drawing with artists. It's like people think they can become an artist. It's like there's a difference between having artistic inclination and being a professional artist. And that's a lot of what we've talked about here today.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a lot of people just, I don't think they read enough. Like if you're gonna try and do actual art that makes money, first you gotta be a businessman. Like if you think about the current like crop of actual in real world art, blue chip considered people like Cause, Jeff Koons, on and on and on. Like they're businessmen first, and also they create art that appeals to a mass audience, or they create a monopoly of their style or their subject matter. Like they aim for some sort of like dominance in those terms, either in like monetary value or their stylistic stuff, you know, like where they're aiming, what they're aiming at. And like, I mean, art's meant to be like the ultimate luxury item, right? Like right now, say with the NFT space, people are just pumping out shit and hoping it sticks.
Yeah.
And not really sort of thinking long term. Like say Beeple or whatever, he's thinking like long term. He doesn't have like a massive amount of stuff out there, and he tries to sort of obtain a really good price point, which he has done with his stuff. And obviously, like, he's sort of his style or whatever in terms of the digital art thing is very like open to like a wide audience, but yet he's made his work scarce and a luxury item. So he's created like a value for his work straight away with that, because when you like go and look at, say, the resales and the price points of things right now for his stuff or whatever, it's now like a luxury item. It's something that you would like to get, but you probably get priced out or whatever.
Mhm.
But then that means that you may or may not have like you have the right people collecting it too. Like when, like, as soon as I saw, like, say, Nifty Gateway or whatever, I'm like, why are these guys just taking anything they can get? Why aren't they? I'm seeing that at some point in the next 6 months, someone will create like a white label sort of where it's insanely over the top curated, where they only take branded sort of artists or the guys from the early days that, or whatever, that like have taken one of those top 10 spots in terms of resale and just initial sales. And sort of just like the real art world, it's a very closed circle, and they try and sort of over the top curate anything they do, and it's exclusive, it's a luxury item. That's when you start getting big numbers, big prices. So like right now it's DeviantArt, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah, people are just
A really good perspective, to be honest.
Yeah. So you said people are just pumping out shit. Yeah, they see the dollar signs for sure. They see the Ethereum price going up, and so they want to maybe snag a few Ethereum if they can, but
that's not good long term, because
Nope.
like the crypto thing is not going anywhere. I mean, it may be the market dips at some point or whatever, but it doesn't mean that the like core ideas and technology behind it and stuff aren't still insanely valuable and going to be used in the future, And the digital art thing like is massively undervalued anyway in terms of like in the real art market. It's not exactly like it's not exactly considered to be something of worth. But now with this sort of new space it's opened up over the last 2 or 3 years, and now finally sort of blossoming, eventually those big galleries I was talking about and the bigger artists are gonna sort of see that, fuck it, I have to jump in too. And once they do, then it'll affect everything. And I think pretty much all that sort of chaff will get sort of weeded out or whatever.
Mhm.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're about over an hour now, so we can wrap this thing up if you guys have any closing statements or words for the viewers, or I don't know, some philosophy, or I mean, what are you guys doing this weekend? Like, what's going on? I mean, anything.
Universe is expanding endlessly, guys.
Yeah, that was funny.
Run
I don't want to
away,
get too broad,
run
but
away,
the
cosmic
universe is
inflation.
that's so good.
We can't stop it. Life is inherently meaningless. No, I think this was really cool. Talking to Marguerite, who's really an OG in this space and has a lot of great things to say. Hopefully we can work together on some wearables or something. And Lush, who makes dope shit and has a lot of really good takes. Actually, it was some cool things to hear from that perspective, and a lot of things that I do agree with about what's going to be the immediate effect of big artists entering this space from the legacy world, which has kind of happened, but as he points out, not really actually happened yet. So very cool for me. I actually learned a lot on this one.
Hell yeah, good.
I think something, I don't know if we mentioned this directly for anybody that's listening, but layered. So while NFTs can be kind of expensive right now on Ethereum mainnet.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's okay if you're making a big purchase and you can justify paying $150 in gas fees. to make the transaction. But in some cases, you might not want to do that. So there's some big projects moving over to Matic network, which is a layer 2 on Ethereum. And it includes projects like Skyweaver, Avagachi, us. They just actually, Matic just renamed themselves to Polygon.
Yeah,
Polygon.
Yep, Polygon. I think that's what it was.
Yep. And they, on their site, I think they have all their different projects, but a lot of projects are moving over to Matic. And if you want to, if you're a developer or you're just a user and you want to experience what Matic Network is like, so Neon District, my game that we've been working on, if you go to portal.neondistrict.io, you can onboard, there's a guide there, and you can play for free. It has an in-game currency that you can funnel into your NFTs. We cover on the back end all the transactions. So like, for example, recently we did 23,000 NFTs, players created 23,000 NFTs, and the total in gas cost was $1.
Yeah.
And so,
Wow.
yeah. So and then there's a bridge to Ethereum. So you're not trapped to the Matic network. It's just a matter that you have this onboarding way to get into NFTs, play around with them if you're curious, without having to have this big expense. So our project is live right now. I don't know exactly where everybody else is with their projects on Matic, but something to keep an eye on. And I guess I really am passionate about people having the opportunity to play with NFTs without, this happened in 2018 where games were coming out, but you had to buy all these assets before you even played the game. And I didn't want to I didn't even know what I needed.
Yeah, it's not even made yet, and you said like you got to buy this and this and this and this, and then 3 or 4 years maybe the game will be out. And
so in some cases, some of the games were like CryptoKitty knockoffs and things, or other, but you had to buy the assets before you could experience anything about the application, and I just think that's the wrong design. Users should be able to have an onboarding that's and somewhat free. I know Skyweaver has a free to play, and I think that's live. So you can go to Skyweaver and you can play their game, which is not backed by blockchain. It's just kind of a demo of the experience.
Yeah.
And packs before you actually go and buy packs or hunt for cards that you want in your deck.
Right.
So anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that because I was gonna ask about the fees and stuff, but good points on that. So.
Yeah, well, layer 2 is going to come out, and there's going to be competitor chains and different things. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's gonna get fun. I mean, it's really been Ethereum dominant and just Ethereum, not even any layer 2 for too long. So that's gonna change in the next 6 months.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. That's great. I appreciate it, and happy weekend to all of you.
Happy weekend. Yeah, Marguerite's going to the beach. I'm gonna freeze my ass off in Chicago.
Dude, yep, it's snowing here. All right.
Pump my bags. Buy my shit.
All right.
Buy my bag.
Lush, nice meeting you.
Yeah, dude. Lush, thanks for coming. Hell yeah, bro.